Hey, welcome to the Empowered and Free podcast. My name is Erin Kimbrell, and I'm a counselor, certified life coach, breathwork coach, and small town mom of two. I know firsthand what it feels like to live with high functioning anxiety. For most of my life, I had so much mental mess, anxiety, people pleasing, perfectionism, overthinking, constant worrying, and never feeling good enough. On my decade-long journey to feeling better, I've learned how to take back my life from high-functioning anxiety and helped others to do the same through my coaching and breathwork programs. Now I want to share everything I know with you. This podcast will help you feel empowered over your high-functioning anxiety and free to finally live the life of your dreams. Now, grab a cup of coffee, get comfy, and dive into the episode. I'm Erin Kimbrell, and this is the Empowered and Free podcast. Hello, friend. Today, we are going to talk about exactly what to do to stop anxious thoughts. I guess you could say that this episode was inspired by all of the people that I talk to every single day in my work as a counselor, in my work as a coach, people who struggle with anxious thoughts. Here's one thing I've realized. I've realized that no one knows how to actually stop the anxious thoughts when they come up. And when you learn how to stop your anxious thoughts, you actually learn how to stop fearing your anxiety. You stop worrying about the next time it's going to show up. You stop having that kind of internal panic. You stop being anxious about the next time you'll be anxious. That was something that I felt all the time before when I had anxiety because it was a nearly constant thing. And if I would have a good day, then I might turn around the next day, have an anxious day, right? Or what I would have called back then a bad day because it would just kind of wreck my day. I want you to learn that your thoughts aren't actually something to be feared. Anxiety is not something to be feared because there are just a few simple steps you can do to stop your anxious thoughts. I would encourage you to go listen to 3 other episodes. So episode 14 is what anxiety really is and why anxiety happens. 15 was the vicious cycle of anxiety explained. And episode 16 is why avoiding anxious thoughts doesn't work. I kind of think of this as part of that series about the truth about anxiety and how you're able to break through these anxiety cycles in your mind. Stopping anxious thoughts is a huge thing that I teach inside of Empowered and Free from Anxiety. If you have not heard of it, Empowered and Free from Anxiety is my anxiety coaching program that helps you take back your life from anxiety. I teach you the right tools to use for your anxiety, when to use them, how you know you need them, and I teach you how to get to the root of your anxiety to heal so that anxiety isn't showing up in your life every single day. I'll place some information at the very end of this episode for you to check out Empowered and Free, or you can visit heyerinkimbrell.com/free to learn everything you need to know. It's all there, guys. One thing I'll say is that reminder that enrollment closes on Friday, March 17th. We start our new group on March 19th. I am not even sure when I'm going to do another group. So if this is something you're considering, definitely hop in as soon as you can. Send me an email, send me a message. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. I am so excited for the people who have said yes, who know that this is the right step for them. And I cannot wait to see how their lives are different in just 4 months from now. Let's get back to the first step of my method, okay, to ditching anxious thoughts. So again, this is just the first step. I teach you in Empowered and Free, I teach you a step-by-step method on how to stop anxious thoughts, okay? Today, I'm going to simplify it. I'm going to make it easy to understand because maybe this is kind of the first time you've heard this information and I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. I want you to be able to take it to say, oh, makes some sense, and to actually implement it in your life. And the step 1 of my method is to notice what's going on in the mind. Do you know how many people I talk to on a daily basis, again, who say, they come in and they say they're anxious, or they send me a message and they say they're anxious. And I say, what are you anxious about? And they say, I don't know. And they truly don't know. Or maybe they have a slight idea. Maybe they're anxious about whatever it is, about work, about a friendship, about a relationship. And I say, okay, well, what are the thoughts that you're having? Like, what is your mind telling you? What are those anxious thoughts saying? What kind of stories is your brain making up? And that's when they say, I don't know. So I just want to help you really understand this. Again, this is a very first step. This is like beginner, foundational. And then from there in my method, there are several other steps that we take to get to the root of the thought and to be able to realize that that thought isn't true. All of that is key to really stopping anxious thoughts. But again, we're going to start at the beginning here. So again, noticing what's going on in the mind. Friendly reminder from those episodes I talked about earlier. I shared about how anxiety is simply a messenger. Anxiety is speaking to you. It's letting you know something is wrong. I also compared it to your internal alarm system that's like, "Mark, mark, mark, mark." Alert, something is going on. We don't feel safe. We don't feel okay. We're scared. We don't feel good enough. Whatever it is that's coming up for you, which is, again, a huge thing that we talk about inside of Empowered and Free, because I want you to be able to get to the root of that so that alarm isn't popping off every single day. But back to what I was talking about. I get a little passionate. I get a little bit carried away. Remembering that anxiety is just a messenger and it's telling you that something is wrong. So like I shared in those previous episodes, if your alarm system in your house was going off, would you just ignore it? Would you get in the car and leave? Would you avoid it? No. You would go, oh, alarm's going off. That's something to notice. You would go over to the keypad, you would punch in your code or use your phone app or whatever it is that you have, and your alarm would turn off. And so that's what you're going to do here. Starting at, why is my alarm going off? You're going to listen to the thoughts in your mind. And so a big part of what I teach is called hitting the pause button. Hitting the pause button, noticing what your mind is saying. You can also think of this as leaning into the thought for a minute. We're so used to avoiding, used to running from our thoughts. We're used to pushing ourselves to be busy, being productive, and shoving our feelings down. I encourage you to do the exact opposite, to actually lean into the feeling, lean into the thoughts, and notice what's there. So you can do this in very practical ways. This is how we hit the pause. You give yourself 5 minutes. Starting easy. I'm not saying you have to lay down and meditate for 30 minutes. I remember I was not at a place where I could have done that before for a few reasons, but one of them, that would have been completely miserable to me. My brain was just going nonstop. So I'm just asking you to take 5 minutes for yourself. So for me, I like to lay down in the bed or the couch or whatever. I turn on my alarm on my phone for 5 minutes, set a timer, or maybe you go sit outside and get away from the chaos of your house, whatever's going on inside, aka your kids or spouse or whatever you got going on, and hit that pause for 5 minutes. Okay, close down the eyes and notice what's in your mind. Now, I know some of these thoughts might seem really big. They might seem really scary, but the first step is to actually even notice what's there. Grabbing a journal when you're doing this and just writing down everything that you're worried about. What comes to mind? What are you stressed about? What are you anxious about? What are you worried about? What are you panicked about? However you want to write that down, just starting, okay? Getting notice of what is going on in the mind. And what you're learning to do here is you're learning to actually sit with your thoughts. You're not running from them. Like I said, we're not doing what we've done in the past, but we're going to sit with them. We're going to notice what's there. Noticing your thoughts is a tool that I teach inside of Empowered and Free, among with 33 pages of other tools that are incredibly helpful. Probably tools that you've never heard of, because I know before I learned this work that changed my life and helped me to feel free from anxiety, I didn't know these tools either. So notice what's going on in the mind. Notice where you're creating what I call a worry spiral. So you have one thought or one worry, and all of a sudden it's turned into like your worst nightmare coming true. Okay. Worry spiral. I just think of it like a little tornado. It kind of starts out small at the bottom and it just becomes this huge thing where you have one thought come up. So maybe it's, okay, I made a mistake on this presentation at work. And then all of a sudden in your head, you're thinking that you're getting fired and that you're not going to be able to afford food and you're not going to have a place to live because you have no money. That's what I'm talking about. Worry spiral goes from something small worry, to a huge worry. So just pay attention. Do I have any worry spirals going on? Like, what are my thoughts right now? Why am I feeling anxious? What am I worried about? This is key to slow down the mind and notice what the thoughts are. Okay. So that is step one. Pretty simple, meaning doesn't take a lot. However, it's not always easy. This can be very hard. I remember I used to run from my thoughts because my anxiety made me feel like I wanted to crawl out of my skin. I had this like constant buzzing energy inside of me that was really uncomfortable to sit in, like just being honest, felt pretty awful. So it was hard to actually do that and to be there and to sit with those thoughts, especially all the thoughts that I thought were big and scary and awful. That was tough. So I understand that this might not be easy for you, but this is step one of my step-by-step method to really break down the thoughts that are going on in your mind so that you're able to stop those anxious thoughts and worries. Once you've gone through each of the 5 steps in my method to notice those thoughts, to be able to kind of confront those thoughts, to tell yourself the truth, then you're able to go and move through the right tools to help you feel better in an anxious moment. A lot of my anxiety was showing up in my body, like I talked about, that buzzing energy in my body, that kind of feeling that I couldn't catch a deep breath, the shakiness in my hands, the headaches, the stomach aches, the neck, kind of pain and tension. All of these things were my physical symptoms of anxiety. And I know you have those too. Maybe yours are a little bit different than mine. I cover tons, like probably 50 plus symptoms of anxiety inside of Empowered and Free. So after you work through the mind, then you work on the body. You help yourself use those tools. There's over 30 pages of tools in my anxiety tools guidebook to help you feel better. And that's a big part of what we spend the beginning of Empowered and Free learning and sharing and practicing. And then in the second part of Empowered and Free, I teach you the key that you've been missing. Right? Maybe you know a couple anxiety tools. Maybe you have actually worked through some of your anxious thoughts, but you don't know how to stop that anxiety from showing up every single day. That's the key that you've been missing. And that's the second part of Empowered and Free. I teach you how to heal your anxiety at the root so it doesn't continue to show up in your life. This is when, like I say all the time, we move past just managing the anxiety from dealing with the body, from dealing with the mind and the thoughts that are showing up that are anxious and calming the body. That's what I kind of consider anxiety management, right? Again, keeping it surface, trying to keep it below that level so that you can function, you can feel good in life. I want to teach you more than that. I want to teach you how to get to the root of your anxiety so that you heal it. That is what I am like extra passionate about. And this is what no one else is teaching. I could go on a tangent forever because you guys know I love this stuff. What I shared with you today about stopping your anxious thoughts, this is really just the tip of the iceberg. That's what I want you to hear. And there's a reason that I break this down step by step over the course of 4 months so that you don't feel overwhelmed, so that you have people to go through and walk with you and hold your hand and help you understand, help you make those connections that you can't see. Do you know how much I hear that? I'll hear what somebody has to say and I'll share something back with them of what I'm seeing, making those connections. And you could just see their mind like being blown because they're like, what? You can't see what's really happening because these are patterns that you've been doing probably your whole life, or at least maybe the past few years. That statement, you can't see the forest through the trees, is so true. When you're in the middle of that forest, you can't see what's past that, what's beyond that, what's actually going on and how to get through it. So I built Empowered and Free from Anxiety purposefully to be simple and not to be overwhelming. I would love for you to join us because I really want you to feel this change in your life. You have to take the next step. I cannot take that for you. So send me a message if you have questions. Check out the page, heyerinkimbrell.com/free. And remember that enrollment ends on March 17th, which is Friday, midnight PST, and we start on March 19th. If you're listening to this in the future, past that date, send me a message. I'm happy to share with you what the plans are for the next group of Empowered and Free, if you can get in and answer any of your questions with that. All right, guys, I'm going to play you a little bit more information about Empowered and Free from Anxiety, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Friend, I know you're tired of anxiety controlling your life. You're tired of that tight grip that it seems to have on you. You're tired of letting anxiety hold you back from the life you want to live. I know that your deepest fears, worries, and regrets keep you up at night. I know that you constantly think you're a failure. I know that you beat yourself up every single time you make a mistake. And I even know about those worst case scenario thoughts that flood your brain all the time. You can't seem to turn off that part of you that is always overthinking a situation, always planning, always controlling and perfecting. And I know you're tired of believing all of those negative thoughts running rampant in your head every single day. Well, I think I have a solution that could help. Empowered and Free from Anxiety will help you take back your one and only precious life from anxiety. You'll finally learn how to feel less anxious, how to live your life as that carefree version of yourself that you used to be. You'll learn how to release control, how to be present, how to be mindful in those little moments in life that you can't get back. You'll have energy, joy, excitement again for life, and you'll finally go for those secret goals that you've been too scared to share with anyone else. You'll feel confident in yourself. You'll feel proud of who you are, and you'll know you're good enough exactly as you are. And that's all because of the step-by-step process that you'll learn inside of Empowered and Free from Anxiety to take back your life. I created this program as a way to help people who are where I once was. People who are ready to feel better, people who are tired of struggling with high-functioning anxiety. The Empowered and Free program will help you finally learn how to feel free from your anxiety. And here's how we do it. I'll walk you through a simple step-by-step process that will help you take action against your anxiety without the overwhelm. I break down exactly how to heal your anxiety into bite-sized pieces. I walk you through my proven method that will help you know exactly what to do if you have an anxious thought. And I do all of this by teaching you the right tools for your anxiety. When you finish Empowered and Free from Anxiety, you'll leave with a toolbox of tools, and you'll feel confident on how and when exactly to use them. But even deeper than that, I teach you how to get to the root of your anxiety to heal from those things that caused you to feel anxious in the first place. What happens here is you feel a baseline of peace, calm, safety from within, so that anxiety doesn't have that control over you that it once had. And as a result, you feel lighter, happier, and relaxed. This program was created with you in mind. I promise you, I know you're busy. I am too. We don't have time to waste. You don't have years in therapy trying to figure out why you're anxious. You need something that's to the point, that's concise, and that is effective. I know you want to see that difference in your life fast, and that's exactly what I deliver inside of Empowered and Free from Anxiety. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. The doors open March 13th through March 17th, 2023. And our first session is on March 19th. Let's get going, right? There are only 20 spots, so make sure you get in first if this is right for you. If you're ready to follow a simple step-by-step process that's proven to help you feel less anxious. If you're ready to live life as that carefree version of yourself again, and if you're ready to finally enjoy this one and only beautiful life that we have as that happier, lighter, more relaxed version of you, then make sure you join us. Do not miss this opportunity. I'm honestly not sure when I'm going to open up this again, and so you need to hop in if this is calling to you. Here's the reality, my friend. You could be living a life with less anxiety by the summertime. Who doesn't want that, right? If you are ready to join us, if you want to get in as soon as you can, head to heyerinkimbrell.com/free to claim one of those 20 spots. I am here for you all the way. I am rooting for you. I am ready for you to live a life with less anxiety. And I cannot wait to have you inside of Empowered and Free from Anxiety. I'll see you soon. Hey, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. You don't know how much it means to me. If you'd like more behind the scenes content, inspiration, and daily reminders that encourage and uplift you, follow me on Instagram at heyerinkimbrell and send me a DM to say hey. If any of the episodes have been super helpful for you, please consider leaving me a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you like to listen. It helps me so incredibly much, and it allows the podcast to be seen by other people who need it. If you want to learn more from me, head to heyerinkimbrell.com. That's where you'll find all my free resources, read the podcast show notes, and learn more information about my online coaching and breathwork programs that help you create the life you want. If you want to keep the conversation going from today's episode, join us in our exclusive podcast Facebook community, Empowered and Free Help for High Functioning Anxiety. I'm here for you, and I'm always cheering you on. I'll see you next time. I'm Erin Kimbrell, and this is the Empowered and Free podcast.